Thank you, Matt. And here we are in the sunshine. What great conditions. And let me tell you, 22 riders will line up without Gary Horsepole and Jimmy Connell. Had an incident yesterday. They're both okay, but Jimmy Connell has a shoulder injury, not able to contest this race. For those of you watching at home, hoping to see that pairing, they will be back for Brands Hatch. But it's going to be fantastic because Tim Reeves and Greg Clues, the reigning world champions, had problems yesterday with the chain. They start well down the order. Ben and Tom Birchall were absolutely invincible. Alongside me, former F1 international and F2 TT regular Paul Napton, who's joining us in the commentary box for the entire season. Paul, this promises to be one cracking race.
It certainly does, Barry. The weather here at Donington today is absolutely fantastic. It's perfect conditions for this sidecar race over 8 laps, and it proves to be a fantastic race, certainly with the pairing of Reeves and Clues coming from the back of the grid.
Yeah, what sort's going on in the passengers' heads at the moment? I mean, you've passenger drivers too. The weather here is perfect. Donington is a fast-flowing circuit. If you're starting from the back of the grid, not easy, is it?
It's not easy, no, but obviously the likes of Greg Clues, who's obviously been world champion and our current world champion, you know, he's been here before. He knows the score. They've been taking plenty of fluids on board. They're keeping himself nice and cool, and yeah, he'll be fine.
I can't see anyone catching Ben and Tom Birchall, I have to say, on the Mitchells of Mansfield Suzuki after yesterday's performance. But having said that, the Weiser Kawasaki in your shot there, the black and yellow bike in the hands of Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood, was very, very quick. They've had lots of pre-season testing. They've clicked with that bike. They are straight away on the pace.
Yeah, they're working really well, this pairing of Ricky and Ryan. Obviously a big change this year. We've obviously been part of the Weiser Superbike team.
Where they go then? Birchall's out in front. Now, there's Reeves. Reeves now up to already. He was 7th place on the monitor, but he just pulled a move there. So Tim Reeves and Greg Clues, Ben Holland and Lee Watson right down there behind. Oh, and who's that? That's Tim Reeves gone past Ben Holland and Lee Watson. So Tim Reeves and Greg Clues coming back. They started well, let me tell you. I'm looking at my grid. They started well down on something like row 8. Sean Hegarty as well is right in the background there. The reigning British champion, Sean Hegarty, he's out of it.
Obviously, I spoke to Tim and Greg before the race, and they said that obviously the first lap was going to be one of the most important.
Gary Bryan out of it. That's Roger Body's bike. Gary Bryan and Jamie Wynn, they've got a mechanical problem. So Gary Bryan, the reigning F2 champion, is now riding Roger Body's Kawasaki for the rest of the season, but they've had a blow-up. And Jamie Wynn signalling there might be some oil.
Yeah, that looks like an engine failure there, Barry.
Off the track then, they need to get it a little bit further off the track, if they possibly can. On lap 2, Birchall's.
Is it possible they could bring the safety car out here to get that bike off the side of the track?
Well, safety car, well, yeah. Good call, safety car. This will allow them to bunch up a bit.
I think this is going to change things, obviously. With it being only an 8-lap race, this is going to make for an exciting few lap dash here.
Safety car then, that will allow Roger Lovelock and Aki Alto and Stevens, that's your top 3 from the first race, to bunch up on the Birchall brothers. Reeves as well will use this opportunity. Tim Reeves and Greg Clues are in 5th place. There they are, and they will use this opportunity ahead of Steve Kershaw and Rob Wilson to close up. Everybody is going to bunch up. We've got a red flag. We've got a red flag now. This could be as a result of the track contamination from that blue bike, the number 44 bike of Gary Bryan. So this is bad news because it's on the racing line. They got off as quickly as possible, in fairness to Gary Bryan, but clearly there's a problem. So whilst these outfits, Paul, carry a catch tank, let's have a look. You can see them coming down. There's the smoke all the way down Craner Curves. They're off it, but they're on the apex of Craner Curves. The marshals there with their detergent. Well, there'll be a short delay. Marshals doing the job here, always great marshals here at Donington Park. getting the detergent out. There you can see just off the racing line where that was. And red flag means we will have another start because the race has only run 2.5 laps. So we'll have a restart, a full restart, and effectively, as far as I interpret the rules, this will be not on aggregate. I would imagine it will be a 6-lap race. We'll have that confirmed. There's Simon Gilbert coming in the back, John Holden behind him. All the outfits coming back now into the Parc Fermé, and they will line up again on the grid for a restart. Off the circuit, back into the start line area. Always drama. This is the first sidecar race, or second sidecar race at the first round in the 2015 season. Marshall's cleaning the oil here then, and we will have more action any minute, I would think. Red flag situation here, and the marshals trying to clear up the contamination there with a mixture of cement, dust and detergent. Paul, tricky times these, because it's not the way the sidecar fraternity wishes to be portrayed. We have very strict measures in how the oil is contained. Obviously something went wrong.
That's right, Barry. I mean, as you said, the oil containments on these bikes, they're basically the engine sat in what can only be described as a bucket that's lined with absorbent padding that, to the best of their ability, absorbs as much spillage of oil or water that obviously occurs.
Well, Marshall's clearing the course, and a lot of work going on. A bit of a delay here with the sidecars. Back to you, Matt.
Thanks, Barry. Yeah, we've got a little break in the action here, so an opportunity to catch up with a few of the Superbike riders. And Tommy Bridewell, after making your debut with the Tyco BMW in that race, it seemed to go pretty well.
Yeah, it's one of them, to be honest. So all weekend we have been struggling. You know, there's no hidden secret. We've been way off the pace. You know, we come from 17th then on the grid up to 6th. You know, we have to take the positives out of it. We haven't had the weekend we were hoping for. We're just lacking a few bits that are just losing us that half a second that we need. I think hopefully for, you know, mid next week we'll have that, and then hopefully we'll try and get some testing done. But the bike's phenomenal. Like, the speed of the thing is incredible, and we've had to just knock some power out of it to make it more rideable. But we're not a million miles away in consideration of such limited track time, you know, and testing. We're pretty happy with that, to be fair.
You were able to get involved there perhaps a little bit more than you might have thought at the front of the pack, and a pass on Keogh in particular that was, well, from our perspective, it was good to watch.
Yeah, exactly. You know, to be honest, at one point I thought, sat on the grid, like, you know, this is going to go two ways. I either go wow or I'm going to struggle. And everyone dived to the inside onto turn 1, and I thought, right, sod it, it's risky, but I'm just going to go to the outside. And honestly, I could see everyone boxing up, and I was like, I just rode around the outside of everyone, and I thought, oh, mega. But it won't take us long to be there. I think, you know, like Philip and everyone at BMW has just said, look, just find our feet, build up, and we'll be thereabouts. And to be honest, like, at one point we was the second and a half off of a podium place. And at one point of the weekend, if you said we would be anywhere near that, you know, I'd have bit your arm off. So good result to get it back up into 6th for sure.
Solid start to the season. Thanks, Tommy. Well done.
Cheers, guys.
OK, we're going to take a little break now. Hopefully when we come back, we're going to have more sidecar action live from Donington Park.
Well, yeah, Hyundai Heavy Industries British Sidecar Championship in association with the Molson Group. Birchall's fantastic start they had, and win yesterday. Lovelock going very well indeed. Tim Reeves slipped back and had a problem yesterday, so he's starting further back. Stevens on the BYs at Kawasaki from Kershaw, who is sensational. Tony Brown, Sam Christie, Ben Holland, Lee Watson there on the 3rd row. Stroyer, who's here because next week we have a World Championship round here at Donington Park. The Dutchman getting some practice. Ian Guy and Ken Edwards line up alongside him. So it's going to be 8 laps of this 2.5-mile Donington Park circuit. Alongside me, Paul Napton himself, an F1 international passenger and a TT passenger regular, now retired, very much involved in the sidecar scene, waiting, green light, green flag at the back, and Lovelock on the front. Tim Reeves will be well down the order with a lot of work to do, so look out for the number 77, Tim Reeves, coming through. From the lights then, away goes Birchall. Birchall on the right of your picture. Ben and Tom on the Mitchells of Mansfield Suzuki. Lovelock there. The B-Wiser Kawasaki of Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood ahead of Tony Brown and Sam Christie. Looking to see if I can pick up Tim Reeves battling through. Yes, I saw Tim Reeves in what looked like something like 6th place. So there are 8 laps for Tim Reeves to close down the Birchalls. Paul Napton, is it on?
Absolutely. I mean, class driver like Tim himself, you know, it's only 8 laps, but I'm sure he'll be giving it his all and pushing as hard as possible.
Well, the Birchalls are the lap record holder around here. 1:33.472 set yesterday. No, not set yet. Not set yesterday. It was actually set last year here, and they didn't get close to it yesterday, is what I meant to say. I need to put some different teeth in. There's Tim Reeves on the left of your picture on the EA Motorsport Kawasaki. Tim Reeves and Gregory Clues, his French passenger. Roger Lovelock, Aki Alto, had a dismal start from the front row. Tim Reeves then has got his head down. You can see Tim Reeves behind the finning cap Kawasaki in 6th place. The finning cap Kawasaki of Ben Holland and Lee Watson. Front runners in the championship for so many years, that pairing, but the top step of the championship has eluded them so far, but Holland then has now been passed by Tim Reeves. Close action.
It is, yeah. It's, the first lap always is a bit hectic, and Tim's obviously trying to capitalise on that and just trying to make up as many places as possible to give himself any chance to pull the Birchall boys back in.
Well, Ben and Tom will know what they've got to do. They've got their head down. Oh, that's Brian Gray and Ben Ransley retiring their 08 Yamaha. They're not using the cross-plane engine. They haven't got the new R1 engine yet. It is coming, but they haven't got it. So Brian Gray, who's in for the season, is out for the day.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, you know, after the early stop to the race earlier in the day, you know, and sat for the next 2 hours and waiting for this race to go ahead, and hopefully that's just a small problem. That's John Alden and Andy Winkle there having a bit of a off-track instance. Isle
of Man TT winners. A couple of years ago, John Holden and Andy Winkle, now riding the long outfit. This is their second full season with a long outfit. Tim Reeves then, having lunged past Tony Brown and Sam Christie. This new pairing together for this year. Another crew that have gone Kawasaki. Kevin Cable, Guy Palsy out of the running as well. Very smart. The rules state that these riders must have matching leathers as well. A new set of rules for this year in an effort, in fact a very good effort, to improve the image and keep everybody looking smart is the only word I can think of that. But look at 29, Kershaw, not going as strongly as he did yesterday. He's in 8th place at the moment, Steve Kershaw, but what a result he had yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, back end of last year, Steve Kershaw and Rob Wilson started to push really, really hard and had some real good results, and I think they got a podium at Assen as well. So, you know, they're a strong contender for podium positions this year.
Tell us about the sort of things that are going through a passenger's head. Obviously, you can see how Tom Birchall is moving from the right to the left to get the tyre anchored down, to keep the thing level. The passenger can dictate the steering as much as the handlebars, virtually.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, passengers have been referred to in the past as co-drivers, and it is exactly that, because without the passenger moving at the correct time and being in the right position, these things just will not go around corners, and both the driver and the passenger play a big part in getting these bikes around the track, and it helps towards us to create such a spectacle for the sidecar class.
And indeed, in most cases, the passenger, certainly in an F1 outfit, is out of the eye line of the driver. He can't see him at all. He's doing his own thing on the handlebars. He has to assume that the passenger is doing the right job for him, but he can feel, surely.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, there's a large amount of trust involved within this sport, and, you know, these drivers and passengers, they eat, sleep, and you know, almost live together for large amounts of time. So once they're on the bike, you know, one knows what the other one's doing.
I'll tell you what's going to be interesting now, Paul, that Tim Reeves in 3rd place, having gone past Roger Lovelock and Aki Alto, has got Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood on the Be Wiser Kawasaki in their sights. That outfit has done pre-season testing. It's fast. They know how to ride it. Oh, there's Ben Holland, Lee Watson out of it again. So the Finning Cat Kawasaki is retired. Back to this battle. Are the young guns, Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood, going to be able to keep the vastly experienced, reigning 5-time world champion Tim Reeves behind them?
Well, although Reeves and Clues have had a real good run in the early stage of this race to get up to third position, up until that lap just then, Barry, which I just noticed that Tim just put the fastest lap of the race in, up until then he was matching Stevens and Charwood's time, so Ricky and Ryan were both holding their own there, really, and to say that they're not as experienced as Clues and Reeves, you know, they're holding their own and they deserve to be where they are on the track.
Well, their pit board will definitely be telling them that they're in second place, but the gap behind them is absolutely zero, because Tim Reeves and Greg Clues with the Team EA Motorsport Kawasaki are climbing all over the back of the Be Wiser Kawasaki. It's 19 crews, I think, have gone for Kawasaki Power. It's an amazing amount, not 19. I've got my sums wrong, that was in the solo class, but in the sidecar class, a huge amount. We've only got the one BMW of Roger Lovelock, maybe half a dozen Suzukis, predominantly the Kawasaki Power.
Yeah, pretty much so. I mean, I think what a lot of the teams do, that they look at the superstock class within the British Superbike Championship, and just, you know, last year the majority of them bikes were Kawasaki's. And
well, where's Tim Reeves going to do it? The Birchells are out in front by 2.7 seconds. Tim Reeves up the inside at the Melbourne hairpin. Is he going to keep it wide? Ricky Stevens, not taking any prisoners, fights back. Great move by Ricky Stevens on the Be Wiser Kawasaki. Tim Reeves on the inside again as they come down towards Goddard's, but he won't run wide this time. He will stay as tight as he can, putting Greg Clues over the rumble strip. And Stevens then in his wheel tracks down to Redgate. Is the cheeky youngster going to have a stab here?
do you know what, Barry? That was absolutely fantastic to watch. You know, Tim Reeves is current world champion, but he's been helping Ricky and Ryan out this year with a bit of bike setup, and it just shows that they both have mutual respect for each other.
Well, it was a close call, but a fantastic battle, and Tim now in second place is 3.9 seconds behind the Birchall brothers, who will have clearly got the message that Tim is now behind them. There is no love lost in terms of racing and respect in terms of the top two, because they're equally quick. They battle, they lock horns in the World Championship, and they're huge rivals.
Yeah, they are huge rivals, and like you said, they both have had that title of being world champions, but they're both formidable drivers and teams. You know, like I said before, it is a driver and a passenger that make these things go around the track. And
well, I just hope that Ricky Stevens can stay on the back of Tim Reeves, because he can learn a lot by following him round. We are well over halfway now. In fourth place, it's Lovelock and Alto, who will be adding to the runner-up spot that they had in yesterday's race. Kershaw has got past Tony Brown, looking for Sean Hegarty and James Neve, who are currently shown as fifth on our leaderboard. There they are, Hegarty and Neve. There's Kershaw and Rob Wilson, the number 29 Express Tyres of Lockerbie sponsored outfit from Tony Brown and Sam Christie, Paymundo.com Kawasaki. Kershaw ahead of Tony Brown. Tony Brown desperate to do a little better in this one. He's in seventh place at the moment, but he's got one wheel, in fact two wheels, on the grass, running somewhat erratically there, but it's a new pairing. Sam Christie is an accomplished passenger. Tony Brown is a very fast driver, having come up just 2 seasons ago from the F2s.
yeah, they're both a very young driver and passenger. Sam really hasn't got as much experience as what Tony has.
Hegarty out again. He slowed and retired it yesterday, and he's done the same again. In fairness, he basically said yesterday that it's all new. It's a brand new L2. That's a 2012 Suzuki engine, all new. He didn't want to stress it unduly. It didn't feel right, so he's trying to bring it home to preserve it. That's exactly what is happening here. So Hegarty out of the running has handed another place to Kershaw and Tony Brown, and still this battle for third place going on between Tim Reeves and Greg Clues and Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood. First time out for the Be Wiser team. I would imagine Tommy Hill would be pleased with this.
Yeah, after the first race yesterday, you know, the whole Be Wiser team, Tommy Hill and everybody within the team were all out on the pit lane, cheering the boys on, and we're really happy for them.
Well, it's the first time we've seen a strong association between a British Superbike team and an F1 sidecar. And of course, if the boys continue to run at podium pace, and how far away is the first victory on this form? Not very far.
Not far at all, Barry. I mean, after seeing the last 2 or 3 laps, you know, battling with the current world champions, you know, they're not far away at all. You know, they just need to get a bit more experience under the belts, and just learn off being behind or so close to Reeves and Clues now, and maybe pick up a few pointers.
Hegarty still touring then, hand in the air. Matt McLaren, AD Hope, number 25 going round in 13th place. They're going to score some points. On the penultimate lap, Ben and Tom Birchall, who will be using every bit of data gleaned from today's race to put into practice next weekend when there is a World Championship sidecar race here at Donington Park. And that is why Benny Stroyer, the Dutchman, who is now running in 10th place, has a wild card, is contesting this as well. World Championship round next. Both these two crews, Birchall and Reeves, will be contesting that. Roger Lovelock won't. His intentions are firmly fixed on the British Championship for 2015, as indeed are those of Tony Brown and Kershaw, looking at Tony Brown and Sam Christie now. They're running in 6th place. The Blue Machinery Kawasaki of Ben Bygrave and Justin Sharp.
I think you'll find that's a Suzuki.
Is it a Suzuki?
Sorry.
Sorry, well done. Good call. L2. It's an L2 Suzuki.
It is, yeah.
Bygrave and Justin Sharp, a good pairing. They get on well socially. They're good lads.
Yeah, they're good friends, and to be fair, it's nice to see them getting a result under the belt here, hopefully. They had a bit of misfortune yesterday, but at the minute they seem to be going quite strong there.
Yeah, well, not too shabby. 7th place, ahead of Simon Gilbert and Carl Morgan. And then in 9th place, we've got Ian Guy and Ken Edwards, ahead of the Dutchmen, Stroyer and Coates. Final lap then for Ben and Tom Birchall, cruising home here. 4.2 seconds now, the gap over Tim Reeves, who has no answer for them, because he hasn't closed them down. He has no answer for them.
I think you'll find, Barry, that what's happened there is obviously Birchall's have made the break early on in the race, and obviously it took Tim a while to get through up to 3rd and 2nd. But once the leader's gone, you lose that tone, you know. And even if you're matching the times or even half a second faster, once that gap's there, it's hard to pull back. This is a good double result for Ben and Tom Birchall from Mansfield in Nottinghamshire. Local crew, I suppose, if you want to put it that way. And Mitchells of Mansfield, their long-term sponsor, very supportive haulage company, helped them out certainly with diesel costs apart from anything else. And when you're a world-class sidecar racer, diesel fuel is no small consideration. No, unfortunately, it's part of one of the rather huge costs of running this, you know, these sorts of teams. Here we go then, checkered flag out. Ben and Tom Birchall, a double victory here at Donington Park. Tim Reeves and Greg Clues closed them down, fought well from the back, and Tim first to congratulate his passenger. Be Wiser Kawasaki boys on the podium again, Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood. A good result for Roger Lovelock and Aki Alto, his Finnish passenger, and another fantastic ride for Steve Kershaw and Rob Wilson, ahead of Tony Brown and Sam Christie, who are coming over the line now. Bygrave and Sharp ahead of Ian Guy, and there is Ian Guy in front of Benny Stroyer and his Dutch passenger, the number 41 outfit. So that's your top 10. Ian Drown and Jed Pillmore-Brady are 11th. Ben and Tom Birchall, double victory here at Donington Park. So the local boys stand themselves in good stead for the World Championship round next week here at Donington. They'll be very, very confident coming into that race for sure. Big thank you to Paul Napton. Good job, Paul. We'll look forward to hearing your dulcet tones for the rest of the season. What did you think of that? I think it was a good race, that, Barry. You know, I hope there's some people that have actually stayed to watch it.
Well, it was a shame we had the oil problem earlier on, but that's the way it goes. Ben and Tom Birchall then, victory here, making it win number 2 in the sunshine here at Donington Park. Be Wiser Kawasaki boys. There it is. top three. Confirmation of that blistering 8-lapper. It was a 4.5 second win from Tim Reeves that the Birchells enjoyed. Ricky Stevens, Ryan Charlwood completed the podium. Roger Lovelock, Aki Alto, former champions. Kershaw, Brown, Bygrave and Sharp did well. Gilbert, Ian Guy, and the Dutchman, 10th place for Benny Stroyer. Ian Drown, McLaurin, the points go down to 15, so Rod Robinson, Helen Dealey collected some points. Two ladies there, Dealey and Shelley Smithers, lady passengers. Sloane, Hegarty, Holden, Holland, Cable, you saw them retire. After the opening round of the British F1 Sidecar Championship, the Birchells 50 points, Lovelock 33, 32, Kershaw in 4th, brilliant for him, 5th Brown, Reeves, well, a bad weekend for him, but he'll be back for more, you can be sure. Ian Guy in 7th, Andy Peach had a dismal weekend, he's got a lot of work to do ahead of Matt McLaurin. Bygrave and Sharp are there, Holland, well, not a good weekend for him, Gilbert, there you are, and even the Sloanes got a point. It was a cracking start again by the Birchells. Roger Lovelock, Aki Alto did not make the most of their opportunity. In fact, they slipped further down the order. Once they'd gone round Redgate, it all went to pieces. Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charlwood on the B Wiser Kawasaki were very soon up the inside at Hollywood. Streaming away after that, Lovelock going backwards. Ben Holland, Lee Watson were fighting off a challenge from Tim Reeves and Greg Clues, who was making his way up from further down the grid. He very soon dispatched Holland and Watson and then set about the race leaders. The rivalry between Birchall and Tim Reeves does not need amplifying. Meanwhile, Reeves had a bit of a time getting past the Be Wiser Kawasaki pair of Stevens and Charlwood. Eventually, his experience paid off, but just look at the move Stevens made when he came back on the inside of the reigning world champion. Cheeky or what? Brilliant, brilliant. But once by again, Tim Reeves then kept the tight line at Goddard's. There was no way anyone else was going to go through. Reigning British champion Sean Hegarty and James Neve went out of the running with yet another mechanical problem, leaving the coast clear for those behind them to claim more points. At the front though, the victory was almost 5 seconds behind Reeves. The Birchall brothers then clear ahead. Reeves second, Stevens and Charlwood third.